Sage Northcutt is always in the news. It seems like everyone is calling this young man out. We have not heard from him in quite some time. Last time he fought was UFC 200. Big win for him over Enrique Marin, and he joins us right now via the phone. Sage, how are you?
Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great, Sage. It's great to have you. I'm a little disappointed. We usually like to have you on via Skype. This time, I think for the first time, you're on via the phone, but we'll take it nonetheless. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Where are you right now, Sage?
So I'm actually in the car. I'm heading to Dallas to train. So that's the reason why I couldn't be on the Skype right now, even though I would love to be. I don't have any Wi-Fi.
Oh, it's all good. Why are you going to Dallas to train?
So I actually have a friend up here, my friend Drake Dudley, his dad, and one of my coaches, Alan Moeller, I'm going to be training with up here in Dallas. So that's what I'm going to be training right now.
Okay. So as I mentioned, you're always in the news, but you were very much in the news last week. Mickey Gall defeated CM Punk and went on the microphone and said he wanted to fight you. Did you hear this? Did you see the fight?
Yes, sir. I did see the fight. And then actually, when he said that, me and my team, my coaches, actually reached out and said yes to the fight.
Oh, so you want to take this fight?
That's great with me. So I said yes to it, and I'm looking forward to it.
You get called out every week, it seems. Why does this one interest you?
That's funny. Actually, I like the fact about 170 for this fight because my previous fights, I've had a tough time making weight at 155, having tough weight cuts. So after this fight, I'm going to go back and I'm going to figure it out. And it's been kind of like trial and error with me with the weight cuts. So I'm doing one at a time. I'm getting used to it, and I'm figuring it out. But after this fight at 170, then I'm going to go back and make sure I get that down.
Okay, so is there a chance that you will not be fighting at 155 ever again? No,
I absolutely will, for sure.
Okay.
And I think I've just been having trouble, I guess, cutting the weight and having the right weight cut. I've been doing it on my own. So after this fight happens at 170, then after this, I'm going to go back and make sure I get that down.
Now, of course, back in January, you had that, short notice fight against Brian Barberena. Didn't go your way, and that was at 170. Are you worried, considering how that fight went? I know you were dealing with a lot of health issues, that fighting guys at 170 is just too tough. They may be a lot bigger than you.
No, I'm not worried about fighting at 170 at all. And that was a weird deal, Mr. Helwani, because I was having one fight, just like Mr. Zahabi actually told me, having so many fights so soon, cutting so much weight to go down to 155 over and over and over, like I did at the time, having 3 fights in a row back-to-back, very close to each other, it runs down your immune system. So that's what happened. Then coming up about a week before the fight against Barberena, my immune system was run down. I was very sick. We figured that going up to fight at 170 would be a great thing, but at the time my body just didn't heal up and it wasn't feeling right. So, but this time coming around, I guess having more time notice for it and to fight at 170, I should be healthy.
Now, do you know when this fight is going to happen, you versus Mickey Gall?
So there's nothing officially confirmed yet, and I know the UFC and we're talking about it, but hopefully December time. That's what it looks like.
Okay, because he was pushing for New York, November 12th. Is that a little too soon for you?
Normally that'd be great, and I would say that's great, but to tell the truth, I haven't really gotten to train very much just because I'm healing up from a staph infection, actually. That's getting cleared up, and just coming off of my last fight, I would have liked to train more, but all I've really been able to do since the fight was just train a few body parts here and there, working out in the gym with weights. Not much grappling or stand-up like I'd like to. So, December time.
Okay, so is this the same staph infection that you were dealing with before UFC 200, or is it a new one?
So what's weird is there's so many different kinds of staph, actually. And I was told from various doctors that there's staph pretty much on everybody on this earth that's walking around every day. So that's what's weird. It can get in your immune system, get inside your bloodstream, and it can travel throughout your blood, and that's the last thing you want. So that's why I haven't been able to train very much coming off from the fight, because I caught this staph, and it's a weird thing, and it's actually similar to the one I had in Canada, but this one's healing up quicker. And what's weird about it is if you get your heart rate raised up too high, that's how it spreads.
Oh.
And that's the last thing you want. So I'm going to have to be very careful of what I do and what kind of training.
Are you worried that you're a little more susceptible to getting staph while training?
it's the fact that's on our bodies every single day. That's definitely kind of creepy for sure. But but getting to I guess eat more. So if this fight happens at 170, getting to eat more and walk around my normal weight and not have to constantly undereat, diet down, and make weight at 155. I think I should be healthier for sure and should keep that away for this fight.
Now, did you watch the Mickey Gall CM Punk fight? Did you watch it live?
Yes, sir. I sure did.
What did you make of Mickey Gall as a fighter? Were you impressed by him? Were you not all that impressed? What was your takeaway from that fight?
So looking at that fight, actually his previous 2 fights in the UFC, he fought 2 guys that came in to fight him, which I've actually never seen happen ever before, that had an MMA record of nothing. So they had no MMA record. I don't think they had no pro MMA record, no even amateur MMA record. So they had no fights at all. And I think him just going in and fighting 2 different guys that had no fights. I think they were both close to 40 years old or something like that too. It's almost like fighting someone's dad. So that's only trained very little for a fight, and it was definitely interesting if you think of it that way.
Yeah. And then he fights CM Punk, who obviously had no experience either, and he's close to 40 as well. Were you impressed by that win, or was that what you were expecting?
Well, I think everybody was expecting that, and I just want to say that CM Punk, that was awesome for him to get out there and have the guts to go out there and fight, because not everybody will do that. So to get inside the octagon and he said it was his dream to go out there and fight his dream out there. So that's awesome for him. And I think everybody kind of expected it to go the way it did. He was fighting a guy that trained very little, and the fight went just like I'm sure everybody expected.
And then he gets on the microphone. Did you have any inkling? Did you have any idea that he was going to mention you almost right away?
No, sir. I was just watching the fights, and I was just checking them out.
Okay, and then he starts calling you names. He says you're corny. Like, he's getting a little personal here. Were you offended by it?
No way. You kidding me? You know what's funny, Mr. Helwani?
Yes.
That he said he's talking about my hair. He wanted to punch the spikes out of my hair, and he said, looking at that from his fights that I've seen, in his pictures, his hair kind of looks like mine. It just doesn't have the hair gel in it. It doesn't look like so. I'm thinking maybe he should get some hair gel and style it or something.
Yeah, oh, wow. Them's fighting words, Sage. Yeah, he's kind of playing with his hair on the way to the cage and, being the cool guy and everything. So he didn't get under your skin. He didn't offend you with any of the words that he said.
No, sir. Absolutely not.
Is it fair to say that skill-wise and experience-wise that he's below you, that you feel like this is kind of a step down for you in a way?
Well, all I can say is that I believe I had better grappling than him, and I believe that better stand-up. If I want to go out there, I can take the fight wherever I want. So if I want to go out there and stand up with him and knock him out, I believe I can do that. If I want to take him down and submit him, then I believe I can do that also.
So nothing he does in any area of the game really impresses you all that much?
Nothing that stands out to me.
Okay. And going back to UFC 200 for a second, were you, considering what happened in January, were you feeling more pressure? I know we talked about it a little bit before, but in the locker room in the hours leading up to the fight, because it was such a big deal, what were you feeling like as you were preparing to try to, snap the sort of losing streak, if you will? I know it was just one, but try to get back on track. What was going on in your mind, in your belly? How are you feeling?
Oh, I felt great. There's no pressure on me, actually, so that's one thing that's great about me is that I don't have that pressure on me, I guess, that's pounding against me or I'm feeling nervous about this or that. I just don't feel that out there. So that's good. But something that's interesting is all the fights that I've had at 155 so far, since my weight cut has been tough, I just haven't felt quite right out there. So if that makes sense, my body didn't feel quite right. I haven't performed like I know I can. So it'll be interesting to go out there to fight at 170 for this.
Oh, okay. I totally see. Now, were you happy with your performance looking back? I know you said you didn't feel quite right, but overall, were you happy with what you did out there at 200?
Yes, sir. I was happy. Obviously, everybody wants to finish their opponent off, and I was honored to be able to fight on UFC 200 and just have the ability to fight that night.
Yeah, there were a couple of points where it seemed like it got a little tricky for you on the ground with the submissions. Did he ever have you in a tough spot where you ever consider tapping? Were you ever worried that you might have to tap?
So I had very tight joints, so I felt good while I was out there. But he did have a few positions that were pretty tight, and I heard that he was a pretty good grappler after the fight, and I thought that was interesting.
Was Moran tougher than you thought he would be?
I really can't describe how tough my weight cut for this was. So
wow,
it really wasn't. I guess the amount of toughness of my opponent Marine when I was out there, but it was a great fight, and I'm glad he took the fight.
Now back to the present. How quickly after hearing the Mickey Gall call out did you guys call Dana White and say we want in?
So actually, our team called him within just a few minutes. Actually, I believe.
Wow.
And it was very very soon after that.
Do you get a kick out of all these people? Almost every single UFC show, someone calls you out. Do you find this funny?
I do find it pretty funny. I mean that's actually a compliment.
Yeah.
That people want to fight you. What I find funny is if some of the guys at the top try to call you out or towards the top, because that doesn't make sense. If they're taking going backwards in the rankings when someone's trying to work their way up, that doesn't quite make sense. They should be going to try to call out the champion if they're going to call someone out. So trying to improve their game.
That's good. Yeah, it is kind of fun. So you just laugh it off. Do you have any idea why everyone is calling you out? Why are they always picking on you?
I don't really know what to say about that, but I take it as a compliment.
All right. Well, it's good you take it as I saw a picture that you posted not that long ago on your Instagram, and you wrote cinnamon bun, and I guess you're working out your legs. I've never seen anything like this. This photo has to be, I wish we could show it right now. This photo has to be Photoshopped, right? I mean, this is unbelievable. The muscles in your thighs are just bulging out. This is crazy stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Which picture I'm talking about?
Oh, yes, sir. No, it's not Photoshopped. That's actually a real picture.
That is insanity.
That's a picture that I believe my brother took it, actually.
Well, he's a great photographer. Well, why cinnamon bun? Why did you caption that cinnamon bun?
Oh, thanks. You know what? My nutrition company that I get all my supplements from, called Vibrato Nutrition, that I order my supplements from, they have a new RTD, which is a ready-to-drink protein shake, and a cinnamon bun flavor.
Oh.
And I was just pumped up that I was drinking cinnamon bun while I'm working out, because it tasted like an actual cinnamon bun dessert.
How many sessions do I need to partake in to get thighs like that? What do you think?
Thanks, Mr. Hawani. It definitely takes a lot of work for sure. But,
it's unbelievable.
I mean, if you eat right and you're constantly working it, then I know it could happen.
Do you ever have a cheat day where you just eat very poor, a poor diet, junk food? Like, do you have one day of the week where you kind of go crazy?
No, sir. I mean, of course I've eaten junk food before or eaten out somewhere, but I always eat very healthy, and I think that's why I walk around very lean, and that's also possibly a reason why it's pretty tough for me to get down to 155, because I'm a pretty big 155er, and walking around, get my body fat checked. I've had it checked a few times, and I walk around with close to 3% body fat, so
whoa,
that's why it's pretty tough.
What's your biggest vice as far as food is concerned? Like when you want to just kind of get some comfort food, is there something that comes to mind?
I love sushi, and I know it's not that's unhealthy, but
come on.
But sushi's got to be my favorite.
Sushi is not a vice. If that's your biggest vice, then I'm in big trouble.
That's funny.
So that's it. No chocolate chip cookies, no cheesecake, none of that. Sushi is where it ends.
I do like chocolate chip cookies, but
okay.
I would have to go with sushi probably. How about you?
That's a good question. I really like tiramisu cake. I talked about that last week on the show. Have you ever had tiramisu cake?
I think I've tried it before. It's been a long time, but I think it's very good.
Yeah, it has a bit of a coffee taste to it. My mother makes a fantastic one. In fact, she's listening right now. I'm sure she'd make you a slice the next time you fight near Montreal, the East Coast. She'd be more than... She's a big fan of yours, actually.
Oh, that's very nice.
I think all moms are fans of yours.
Oh, thank you. Hope I can meet her sometime.
Yeah. And that goes, and as we wrap this up, that goes back to Mickey Gall and his trash talking. I thought, it was a bit below the belt to say that you were corny and whatnot, call the guy out, but I thought maybe he took it a step too far there.
Yes, sir, I agree. And I think a step too far was when he's cussing and
yes,
and saying the curse words out there, because I don't know. He says that's how he gets people's attention, but I don't know what kind of people's attention he's trying to get. If he's cussing out there, is it the families, is it the moms, the little kids that are watching? I don't know, but it doesn't seem very appropriate.
Do you think that this guy is kind of, in dreamland? Like you said, he's defeated these guys who are going into fights with no pro or amateur records. The Mike Jackson, CM Punks. Like, do you feel like he's in for a rude awakening when he fights someone like you that almost has now 10 fights under his belt professionally?
Well, like I said, I've never heard of it before, fighting two people that have had 0 fights, pro or amateur. So I think anybody that's in the UFC is very talented, and anybody he fights, it's going to be very interesting.
Okay. And last question for you, Sage. And again, thank you so much for the time. It's always great having you on the show. I feel like the sort of social media stuff has quieted down. Like you're now sort of settling into your groove. People are really supporting you. And if they're not, they're kind of just leaving you alone. Is that accurate? Has all the sort of hysteria of earlier this year sort of quieted down, and now you're in that groove as your career settles in?
Yes, sir. A little bit. And, it doesn't really ever quiet down, actually. So obviously the UFC is great at social media. So the social media is always growing, which is awesome. So to me, the more fans, the more people that I get to meet and I guess reach out to, and I get to enjoy watching me fight or travel and watch me do this or that and follow my career, I think that's a blessing. So that's awesome, and I like that. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's quieting down. I think it's just basically getting started.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean the love that you get, maybe just sort of the jealousy and the nonsense tweets and things of that nature, but you always have such a great head on your shoulders. I think you're a fantastic role model. Let me ask you this one last question. Is there a specific date that you want in December, that pay-per-view in Toronto, that Fox show in Sacramento, that pay-per-view in Las Vegas, December 30th? Is there a specific date that you have in mind?
Not a specific date in mind right now, but probably towards the mid of December.
Okay. So, all right. Well, maybe in Sacramento, Fox. Sage, again, thank you so much for the time. Safe travels to Dallas. Again, I always appreciate your insight. Always appreciate having you on, and I wish you the best in getting that fight against Mickey. And who knows, maybe we'll talk to you before the fight. I look forward to it. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in that one.
Thank you very much. Me too. And sorry I couldn't do the Skype today because I was driving, but I would have loved to.
Next time for sure. It's a date.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sounds great.
There he is. Super Sage Northcutt stopping by. Looks like he may have a big fight on his hands against Mickey Gall. How about that? That's a big one. I like it. It makes sense. Let's do it. December it is.